So welcome everybody. I'm so pleased to see you. Many of you I haven't seen for a bit, so it's so nice to connect and see faces again. So my name is Dr. Jane Smolnick, and we're going to be talking tonight about how to activate your vagus nerve, stimulate your vagus nerve to help calm and release the stress response, which can actually be quite damaging for the body. So this will be very helpful, I hope, for just about everybody. I think we all need it. And just to let you know, in the chat box, I attached the PDF there. So if you want to click on that and download the PDF, that's a whole lot easier than having 50 people ask me to email it to them. So it's there for you if you'd like it. All right. So I just want to say welcome, just in case any of you don't know me. My name is Dr. Jane Smolnick. I've been a doctor of natural medicine, naturopathic doctor, iridologist, master herbalist, certified intuitive, quantum energy healer, and I have over 30 years experience in the holistic and natural health field. So I also teach the biofield clearing technique, and I have several of my graduates here, which is also nice. So, and just working with people holistically for a very long time. And one of the things I wanted to say why I thought that this was pretty important is the fact that it's not new that we've been overstressed. What I've noticed in my practice for many years, probably over 20 years, when people fill out their intake form, and there's a few questions on there, and one is, have you been under extreme stress? And I'd say like 95% of people say yes, people have been overstressed. So this has been going on for a very long time. And you're going to learn what are the things that contribute to the stress that we have in our body and what it does to our body, and very simple ways that are actually, even most of them are all free, that you can just do to help yourself to really calm the stress response, because I think it's going to be really important. And then in the last year, of course, we've been way overstressed with all the stuff going on. And even just before that, we've been overstressed with so many, 5G and EMF and just, you name it, we've been bombarded a little bit. So this has a real impact on our overall well-being. So what I'm going to do is just put this down to a smaller size. Great. Okay. So really everyone's overstressed these days. And that was even before the pandemic turned our lives upside down. I mean, chronic stress is actually dangerous to our health. And we all have to find ways to manage it, for ourselves. Sometimes it can be simple things that we do. Sometimes it can be unhealthy things that we do, like, oh, well, where's that glass of wine, or, the beer, or whatever it is, that might not be always the best for us. So it's something to pay attention to, because there are so many different things that stress us. It is not just about emotional stress. Sometimes I'll say to people, okay, when I do the vital scan, heart rate variability test, I can tell what people's stress response is. And one of my specialties over the years has been helping people deal with adrenal stress, fatigue, exhaustion, insufficiency. There's kind of like a curve where we go through different stages. And then you can only be in the stress response chronically for a period of time, and then your body just exhausts itself and it says, I can't even do this anymore. And one of the things I heard a long time ago from one of my mentors, who was Rosemary Gladstar, she's a very well-known herbalist, was she said to us, you have to save some energy. You can't burn yourself out in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s and even in your 50s, because you have to save energy to get through your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and sometimes we do. I know I've done that myself. I've gone through adrenal stress, adrenal fatigue, and then built myself back up again. Next thing you know, I was doing too much again, and I crashed even harder, and I went through adrenal exhaustion. And the longer you're in that state and the harder you crashed, the longer it takes you to build yourself up to get out of it. But you certainly can. Okay. So stress comes from so many different sources. So emotions, of course, are the first thing we think of. Previous traumas that we have in our life. We can have cellular memories of different traumas that have occurred or accidents that have occurred. We can have mental stress, anxiety, worry, frustration, depression. Financial stress, of course, is big for a lot of people. challenges with your job or your career. Too many toxins in our system and in our gut is a huge stress for all of us. What I've been seeing over the years, working with clients for over 30 years, what I see is supplements aren't working the way they used to. People aren't recovering as quickly as they used to. You know why? Because they have way too many toxins in our food, our water, our air, in our guts, and we have too many EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies that we're bombarded with. So the body has a hard time to detoxify itself. And you have to deal with some of these things really in order to help your body get back into a healthy state of balance. Another thing people don't think of, well, maybe you do. We have societal stress and media stress, big time. How many people are tuned in to watching all the drama that's going on worldwide? It's pretty incredible. There can be stress from loss of a loved one, sickness, diagnosis or death of a loved one. A serious diagnosis of a loved one can really stress us out. Having to take care of people who are needy, whether they're children, elderly, disabled, that can be a big stress. Relationship problems, challenges with others, other family members perhaps. Illnesses and disease will actually stress our body as well. Excess EMF radiation from all the technology that we have nowadays. Do you know, and I've been studying this since the year 2000 for 21 years, and it has just grown and mushroomed tremendously. You know, now that we have 5G, it doesn't mean that they turned off 2G and 4G. They just added to the pile. And then all the smart meters that we have, that was one thing that just blew a circuit for me, because when we had smart meters put on where I used to live, I had a beautiful condo in the woods, great neighborhood, and there was 4 smart meters down by my bedroom. Once they turned them on, I couldn't sleep for the next 15 months. It was just, I'm very sensitive to energy. It was way too much. And then my joints started hurting really bad, which I never had joint problems before. So that's why I moved. I ended up moving out of Asheville up into a mountain. But we'll get back to that in a little bit. But this is something, the technology that we all love and use and have really creates a lot of cellular stress, and you do have to deal with it. Chronic inflammatory diets is another thing that's constantly stressing our body. Every time we eat foods that aren't just whole foods from nature, whether they're processed, they have GMOs in them, they're toxins, you name it, we have a lot of chronic stress from our diet. So, and there are some damaging effects of stress too. It reduces our ability to rest, repair, and rebuild our cells. I want to talk about that in a few minutes. I'll explain it more. It reduces stomach acid, creates poor or incomplete digestion. There's poor transit time for stool elimination. You can have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. You can have excess cortisol production and even adrenaline production. How many people are addicted to adrenaline right now? I mean, what we're seeing now is, you know, we used to see as people got older in their 50s and 60s, okay, their adrenals would start to get exhausted. Now we're seeing people in their 20s and even in their teens going through adrenal exhaustion because they're burning themselves out. They're having energy drinks. They love adrenaline rush movies, anything that creates that cortisol stress response and adrenaline response. It can create endocrine dysfunction, reducing your hormone production. When those adrenals start to go down, it pulls down all the other endocrine glands, and your hormone production really starts to decrease, be stressed. You can have a poor microbiome, which is the healthy gut, you know, the healthy, good probiotics. That really affects your immune system. Blood sugar imbalances, insulin resistance, which is also being pre-diabetic. Sometimes when people are hypoglycemic, that's the first start, because that means your blood sugar is fluctuating. Chronic inflammation leading to a breakdown of healthy tissue and leading to disease. Dysfunctional breathing. People can have sleep apnea, shallow breathing. Reduced circulation in the arteries, including cerebral circulation. You can have poor cerebral circulation. Muscle weakness, general fatigue, joint pain. Too many toxins in the liver, poor elimination of toxins, and it accelerates the aging process. So, I mean, you guys all know, this kind of stuff is really what makes our body break down a little bit, and when we just think it's just aging, but it's not actually just aging. It's stressing, basically. So we're going to talk about the vagus nerve. The title of this is really how to activate the vagus nerve and what does it do? So the vagus nerve is a very important part of the parasympathetic nervous system. It's the rest and digest system. It's like the ability to put on the brakes, slow down, relax, go back to doing our normal functions again, like digesting, resting, repairing, sleeping. This system should be dominant. So the parasympathetic nervous system should be dominant. The sympathetic nervous system is the counterpart of it, and that only kicks in should a chronic stress occur. And then the parasympathetic goes down. And the vagus nerve is the biggest thing to pay attention to. So most people are constantly engaging their sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight mode. It's like putting your foot on the gas pedal. Gotta go. I gotta take care of everything. There's stress going on. There's a trauma going on. I might have to, lift a car off a child or do something like that. And your body's going to flood yourself with all these hormones. So it's like having your foot on the gas all the time. But because of this, we're actually having an adrenal fatigue epidemic in this country. So, and you guys probably have felt some of these effects. So how does it work? So the vagus nerve is actually a very long meandering bundle of motor and sensory fibers. It links to the brain and also to the heart. Let me just see, I have a little chat question here. Okay, well, the PDF is right above where I see this. So look above in the chat and you'll see the PDF, Activate the Vagus Nerve, and you should be able to just click on that and it'll come, okay? So anyway, the vagus nerve is a long meandering bundle that's basically everywhere. It's connected to the brainstem, to the heart, to the lungs, to the gut. See the yellow in here? I want to talk about, especially by the ears and down the neck. We're going to come back to that, but I want you to just take a look at that. It also branches out to touch and interact with the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the ureter, the female reproductive organs, the neck, the ears, the tongue, the kidneys, everything. It powers up our involuntary nerve center, the parasympathetic nervous system, and controls the unconscious body functions. Okay, let me just see. I may have to come back to the chat. Okay, well, I can't tell you where it is, but I know it's on there. So look in the chat, and up there you'll see the PDF. Okay. So in the brain, the vagus nerve helps to control anxiety, depression, and mental acuity. So when the vagus nerve is down, you're going to have more of a challenge. I'll explain it a little bit more in a little bit. In the gut, it increases stomach acidity. It supports digestive juices and gut flow. Right? Okay, so when it's not working right, when we're stressed and it's not working right, it can cause brain fog, neurotransmitter imbalances. Your whole brain is like a little pharmacopoeia of chemicals, hormones, neurotransmitters to keep you balanced. You can have digestive disorders, hormone imbalance, insomnia, much more. So our parasympathetic nervous system should be dominant. So do you know that your body only repairs when you're either sleeping, deeply sleeping, or deeply relaxed, which is very rare that we're deeply relaxed when we're awake. So when we're under stress, our bodies produce neurochemistry and neurotransmitters, such as adrenaline and hormones like cortisol. So cortisol helps us to handle stress by increasing our blood sugar levels. It's like, okay, I got to find any kind of glycogen I can find and turn it into sugar for energy because I need energy right now, right? Dietary sugars and even starches like white flour, rice even. Any of those foods basically turn into sugar rapidly in the body. I call them kind of like silent sugars. They're hidden sugars. So they create such an excess that metabolism, weight gain, and blood sugar imbalances occur. So here's a little look at the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. I'll explain this a little bit. So on the left side here, the parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. Like I said, this should be dominant, right? Your body will constrict your pupils to adjust to light, stimulate saliva, relaxes the heartbeat, constricts the airways, stimulates activity of the stomach so you can digest your food well and absorb your minerals and nutrients, inhibits the release of glucose, and it stimulates the gallbladder, the bile production, stimulates the activity of the intestines, contracts the bladder, promotes erection or genital, needs. So, and it will send signals right to the brain as it is needed. But for so many of us, when we have any kind of stress that occurs, whether it's acute or chronic, most of us, what I'm talking about is chronic stress, where your sympathetic nervous system is on and your parasympathetic comes down. And now you don't digest well, you don't sleep well, your body doesn't repair and recover well. When you're in a sympathetic nervous system, that fight or flight, it dilates your pupils, it inhibits saliva production, increases your heartbeat, relaxes the airways. I need to get more air. I need to have more blood pumping. I need to have more blood sugar in my system. I have to open up my eyes so I can see more, right? Stimulates the release of glucose, inhibits the gallbladder, which inhibits the liver, inhibits activity of the intestines, secretes epinephrine and norepinephrine, which is really adrenaline, relaxes the bladder, promotes ejaculation and vaginal contraction, and it's constantly sending information to the entire nervous system all up and down the spine. That's why people tend to feel more anxious, more jittery. It's like I have to be aware of absolutely everything that's going on because I have the stress that's occurring. Do you know what's actually normal for us is to be in parasympathetic dominance, and your sympathetic nervous system is just hanging out, waiting in the wings. Should a stress occur, then it will kick in and the parasympathetic goes down and says, okay, I got to deal with this. Do you know that should only happen maybe a couple of times a month? You deal with the stress and then you relax and everything goes back to normal. What I've been seeing for a long time is people get stuck in a chronic stress response. And very often they're in one stage or another. Either they're like, oh, I'm going and going and going, and I've got all this energy and I can do stuff. And they seem like they're like Superman or Superwoman. But your body can only deal with that for so long. And then breakdown occurs and you start going over the other side of the hill, which is like, okay, now I'm getting exhausted. Now I'm not sleeping well. My digestion's been a problem. Blood sugar's been a problem. Hormones are a problem. I know, I've been there myself. It's not easy sometimes. The longer you let it go, the more challenging it can become. And the longer it can take to actually recover, but you can recover. Do you know you can't live without your adrenals? And your nervous system is extremely important as well. Let's talk for a minute about vagal tone. So the tone of the vagus nerve is the real key to activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So vagal tone is measured by tracking your heart rate alongside with your breathing. We do this with heart rate variability testing, which many of you who have been my clients have had that test before. Your heart rate speeds up a little bit when you breathe in and slows down a little when you breathe out. There actually should be some variance. The bigger the difference between your inhalation heart rate and your exhalation heart rate is, the better your vagal tone. It means your body is fluctuating to respond to anything that occurs. When the heart rate becomes really pretty flat and stable, it's like it's losing that ability to respond to anything that should occur. And that's where you can get into trouble. Higher vagal tone means that your body can relax faster after stress. Research shows that a high vagal tone makes your body better at regulating blood glucose levels, reducing the likelihood of diabetes, stroke, cardiovascular disease. Higher vagal tone is associated with better mood, less anxiety, more stress resilience, and studies found that higher vagal tone is associated with greater closeness to others and more altruistic behavior. You're happier to help others because you're not so overwhelmed and overstressed yourself that you don't have any energy left to help others. Low vagal tone. Now, this is challenging. It's associated with cardiovascular conditions, a decrease in your circulation, strokes, depression, diabetes, chronic fatigue, cognitive impairment, and much higher states of inflammatory conditions. Do any of these sound familiar? Inflammatory conditions can include all autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, endometriosis, autoimmune thyroid conditions, lupus, and more. People with fatigue, food sensitivities, anxiety, gut problems usually have lower vagal tone, which means a lower ability of the nerve to activate or perform its functions. In other words, low vagal tone creates inflammation. You want to know something really interesting is there's a thing called sudden death syndrome. You could even have athletes, probably, I mean, I heard this quite a few years ago, like 150,000 athletes can die a year from they're overstressing their body. They can be 28 years old, they can run 30 miles, and next thing you know, they can drop dead of a heart attack. Do you know why? Because they are stuck in such, they're constantly overstressing their body that should another stress occur, their body's just overwhelmed and can't handle it. And it's like, they can't handle it. They've overstressed themselves way too much to the point where they don't have any ability to respond. That's interesting. So the effects of stress, okay? You can have excessive hair loss and baldness, the brain, insomnia, headaches, irritability, anxiety, depression, the mouth, oral ulcers, excessive dryness, muscles, neck and shoulder pain, musculoskeletal aches, lower back pain, the heart, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, poor circulation, congested arteries, inflammation in the arteries. The lungs can exacerbate asthmatic conditions. Digestive tract, diseases of the digestive tract are things like gastritis, stomach ulcers, irritable bowel, colitis. Skin, you can have an outbreak of skin problems like eczema and psoriasis. That's really too many toxins in the blood. Fastest way out is through the skin. So reproductive organs too, menstrual disorders, recurrent vaginal infections in women, impotence and premature ejaculation in men. I mean, it affects every single part of our body. So it's a good thing to know how to take care of it. So we're going to talk about 21 ways to activate the vagus nerve, which will start to immediately lower your stress response. When you feel yourself being stressed, there's a number of things you can do. Number one is deep conscious breathing. It works instantly. When I was in my practice doing the vital scan heart rate variability test for people, and if I would see that they were in a high stress response, I would ask them to take just some deep relaxing breaths, deep cleansing breaths, slow breaths in all the way to the belly and slow breaths out. And I would see an immediate improvement of everything across the board. When we're stressed, we tend to breathe shallow from the neck up or the chest up, right? We just want more, oxygen to our brain, and our body suffers. Deep breathing is always relaxing to the body. So just know that, when somebody says, okay, breathe, they mean it, But you can also use different breathing techniques to stimulate the vagus nerve, like alternate nostril breathing or yogic breathing is another way to stimulate the vagus nerve. Another breathing technique that you may have never tried is inhaling deeply and then closing your airway, like holding your breath while pushing your breath against the inside of your chest and bearing down on your diaphragm and your abdominal muscles. And then just slowly letting it out. Just really kind of holding your breath and pushing down on that diaphragm. This method of applying internal pressure from the lungs out to the surrounding organs actually stimulates the vagus nerve as it connects your heart, your spleen, your lungs, your stomach, and your small intestines. That can be really helpful. Meditation. I think sometimes we overlook the important value of meditation. So doing some deep conscious breathing to fully relax, and then using visualizations. Picture your grounding cord. Grounding cord is so essential, going down the base of your spine deep into the earth and locking onto the crystal core of the earth. You can even notice a grounding cord, almost like roots coming out of the bottom of each of your feet and going down like roots into the ground. Ground, connect with the earth. Even a grounding cord that goes from the base of your spine, you might notice it as a silvery cord that comes up through your root chakra. It's a cord of light about 2 inches wide, and it's hollow in the center. So this is a particular visualization for releasing adrenal stress, which I love. This helped me so much years ago. So picture your adrenal glands. Now, your adrenal glands are the size of your own fist, and they're just above the waist, on your back there, or in your back, just inside the spine. And the adrenal glands are these little glands that sit on top, okay? Now, picture your adrenal glands having a little switch, like a light switch, and turn the switch on release, and give your adrenals permission to just release and drain all the accumulated stress that your adrenals have stored over the years. We accumulate stress, you know? And one of the things that I used to do when I would do energy healing on people, and I'd take, scan their body and take a look, and their adrenals sometimes would feel shriveled up like raisins. So doing this particular exercise, you can revitalize them. So if you turn your adrenals on release and give them permission to drain all that accumulated stress, see it flowing like a little waterfall, pouring down the grounding cord, all the way down that hollow tube, that grounding cord that connects with the earth, and allow it to just drain, to be transformed by the earth. Just release. It's great to do when you go to bed at night. Turn your adrenals on release and allow all that accumulated stress to drain. And once it feels complete, this is part 2. Now picture your energy now flowing up through your crown chakra, through the top of your head, and all the way up to your divine source, universal source, the great central sun, whatever you want to call it. And picture a beautiful golden healing light streaming down in through the top of your head, lighting up your mind, your brain, going down to your heart, filling your throat, your heart, and streaming golden light into your adrenals. I'm going to repeat that. Stream this golden light into the adrenals and see it renewing and restoring every single cell, revitalizing your adrenals again back to a perfect, healthy state. I would do this sometimes, and I would see it be like their adrenals would start to plump up again and get pink and start functioning better again. I had to do this for myself when I went through adrenal exhaustion. It was like, whew, but that can be extremely helpful. So don't discount the power of your own intention, okay? So I love that particular exercise, so feel free to do that whenever you'd like. Toning, this is a great thing to do. It's a gentle form of sound healing that helps us on all levels, right? By using certain tones, which are really vowel sounds. It's simple and easy to do. You can do it every single day. The vowel sounds are held for a few minutes at the same pitch, unlike singing where you can vary the pitch. So while there are multiple types of sound-based meditation techniques, those using a person's own voice have been found most effective, as opposed to somebody toning to you, or for you. Because when you vibrate that throat, remember I showed you the picture of the vagus nerve, it is most prominent and closest to the surface, right below your ears down to your neck here. So, and it also runs through the entire body. So as you're toning like ah, oh, e, I, any of those sounds, hold them and you're vibrating that sound, and it'll bring your body back into natural homeostasis or balance. It calms the stress response. It's activating, triggering the vagus nerve to go back into its healthy state, okay? So as the tones are sung, the chakras or the energy centers in your body respond. Using sound to resonate each center helps charge those areas by increasing circulation, increasing energy, increasing vitality. Quantum physics is suggesting that possibly disease in the body originates with disturbances in the electromagnetic field. So toning for 3 to 5 minutes at each center helps smooth out the energy field. Okay, the vowel sounds are simple, like ah or a, ah, e, I, o, oo. You can even end with om. Okay, they are non-local, non-specific sounds that are easy to tone. You can pick whatever tone you want, like ah, or you can go ah, whatever you choose. As you take a deep breath, open your mouth. And as you exhale, just gently and steadily tone each vowel sound for a long, slow tone. And repeat each one at least 3 times. Okay? Now, if you can't do that or don't want to do that, I love this one, humming. It's very simple to do and effectively relaxes the sympathetic stress response as it activates the vagus nerve. So simply breathe in deeply and slowly. And then as you breathe out, just hum any steady one-tone note to vibrate your voice, like mm. Don't fluctuate the tone like you would in a song. Just hold that. So continue to breathe in and hum for at least 5 minutes. You can change the tone as you like, going higher. This immediately vibrates the voice box and activates the vagal tone. Excellent to do before bed or anytime you're feeling stressed. Teach your kids to do this and enjoy it. One of the things I would notice was when I was doing my vital scan heart rate variability test with my clients. And if they were in a real high stress response, I actually did this for myself. While I was testing, I would start humming and the sympathetic nervous system would just calm right down and the parasympathetic would come right up. My aging would come right down, the circulation, the heartbeat would calm down. Everything across the board would come back into balance. Easy, easy, easy to do. You just have to think about doing it, right? Okay, using essential oils can be really helpful too. Essential oils are extremely high vibrational frequencies and they're very concentrated. So lavender oil is one that's extremely calming. It has over 100 medicinal uses to it, qualities to it, and it's very inexpensive. It's a very easy and pleasant way to relax anxiety and stress. And one of the things you can do is apply the essential oil directly to your skin just behind your ear and slide your fingers down the front of your neck there, along the side of your neck. That's where the vagus nerve is closest to the surface. So put some lavender oil on your fingers. You can do this before bed and slide it right down. I would also like to put some right on the back of my neck because it helps the brain and the spine calm and relax. So they're very minute particles that really go into the body very easily. And then, of course, breathe it in. Okay. It's great before bed. Sometimes what you can also do is spray some if you have a spray, or put some on a tissue and slide it under your pillowcase. It's great for your kids too. When you put your warm head on your pillowcase, you're going to warm that lavender oil. You know what else I like to do? I have these wool balls that are like tennis balls, but they're really drier balls. I put several drops of lavender oil on them when I wash my sheets and my towels and put them in the dryer, so my sheets will smell like lavender. So you can spray or use a steam diffuser, put the oils into the air, right? Like I said, put it on a tissue or just place it on your fingers and breathe it in. You can also use frankincense oil. Guys love that one. It's a very high frequency. Lemon balm is very calming. Chamomile and orange oil are also really good choices. So find what you love. Okay, because what you're drawn to the most is what you need the most. And laughter. So researchers in the Journal of Psychological Science found that more social connections led to more opportunities for positive emotions, which also increased the stimulation of the vagus nerve. Now we've had a major reduction in social connections over the last, almost year and a half. So that was not easy for a lot of people. So researchers said this experimental evidence identifies one mechanism, perceptions of social connections through which positive emotions build physical health. So if you can feel connected to others, you feel joy, you feel kindness, you feel compassion, you can laugh, you can have a good time, you can relax, you can trust, that goes a long way. Laughter makes you feel good and it stimulates your vagus nerve. It helps to produce overall good health and well-being. So, you guys have probably heard laughter's the best medicine, and it sure is. Sometimes just watching some of your favorite comedies for a good belly laugh can be really helpful. So enjoy laughing. Grounding, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. It's really an alchemical process that transforms stress and chaos into a force of peace and strength. The deeper you ground, the more you grow. Think of trees. The deeper the root system, the higher the tree, and the more flexible it can be. And the same is true for you. When you're not grounded, we experience pain, inflammation, we feel more physical, emotional, spiritual trauma, stress, overwork, excess mental worry, and poor health. So, one of the things that I've been getting a tremendous amount lately, and it's just coming in strong, is people are not grounded. I help clients all the time. You have to ground. So we have become a society that we're in our buildings, we're in our offices, in our homes, in our schools, and our cars. When we're outside, we have shoes on. That kind of insulate us from really connecting from the earth. So the more you can actually go out barefoot on the earth, they laugh at people that hug trees, but there's a real purpose to that. So here's one visualization you can do. I mentioned it a little bit to a degree. Inhale and fill your heart center with energy. Really feel the love growing in your heart. Breathe into your heart center. Breathe into your belly. And imagine you have 3 roots, one growing from the bottom of each foot and one growing from the base of your spine. Exhale and imagine energy flowing down those 3 roots. Send them deep into the earth. Send love and appreciation all the way down, connecting to the core of the earth. Love Mother Earth, for she provides everything for you to live, grow, heal, and prosper. And then inhale and imagine the energy of the earth rising up, drawing up vitality, power, strength, and healing energies from the earth. Draw up vitality, power, strength, healing, and draw them all the way up to your heart center. Just continue to bring that energy. You're sending energy to Mother Earth, being grateful, and you're bringing that energy back up. Then as you exhale, imagine sending this energy flowing up and out the top of your head into the sky. This creates a bridge between earth and sky, heaven and earth. And then breathe in, inhale all the wisdom, all the love, and all the compassion from the heavens. So you see how we can breathe in from the earth, all the power, vitality, and strength, but we breathe in from the heavens, from divine light, love, wisdom, compassion. Okay? And continue at your own pace, just being the bridge between heaven and earth, anchoring yourself to the earth and connecting yourself to the great central sun, divine universe. Okay? And as you send more love and gratitude for both, and you feel balanced and complete, just continue with your day and enjoy that connection. It's something you can do even for 5 minutes every morning. Say good morning to the sun. Go stand outside barefoot on the earth and just face the sun and welcome the sun and bring in that energy. It's extremely healing. The sun gives us a tremendous amount of light, which is giving us information. We have all kinds of information coming in on those light rays tremendously. And cold water. This is amazing. Studies show that when your body adjusts to cold, your fight or flight, that sympathetic stress response, declines. And your rest and digest, that parasympathetic system, increases. And this is all mediated by the vagus nerve. So in fact, simply splashing cold water on your face when you're stressed may be enough to stimulate the vagus nerve, or drink some ice water. After a nice warm shower, I always end with a cool or cold rinse. As cold as you can make it, even if it's for 15 or 30 seconds. and just breathe through it. You know why? When you have a nice warm shower, it's bringing blood to the surface. And then when you have a cold rinse, it pushes all that nice oxygenated blood back to your organs, and it calms that stress response. You can also jump in an unheated pool or in a creek or a lake or a pond or a cool river, anything. So some cultures will even do alternating between hot, kind of like a hot tub, and then a cold plunge and back and forth. But that's actually really helpful. Okay, so try that after your shower. It's one of the best things for your immune system as well as your nervous system. Always end with a cool rinse. You don't have to go ice cold right away, but little by little, see how long you can handle it. Let me do a quick check. Okay. All right. So doing things like yoga, tai chi, qigong, also excellent. Yoga increases vagal nerve activity and your parasympathetic nervous system in general. So when you breathe, and especially when you focus on one point, just focus on one point as you're doing your yoga or as you're meditating. Sometimes people focus on a candle. That immediately calms the nervous system. A 12-week yoga intervention was associated with a greater improvement in mood and anxiety than a control group who just did walking exercises. The study found it increased thalamic GABA levels too, which is a neurotransmitter, gamma aminobutyric acid, which were associated with improved mood and decreased anxiety. So GABA actually helps calm that worry, thinking, anxious mind that wants to continue to think. Just like in the middle of the night when you wake up and your brain starts going. I'll tell you something you could use for that. I actually use chewable GABA, which is fast acting. I just keep one next to my nightstand. So if I wake up during the night and my brain starts going, like it did last night, then sometimes I'll just chew that. And usually within 5 minutes or so, it can calm my thinking mind and I can go back to sleep easier. And turn off your TV. Get outside, be in nature. Simply reducing your screen time with TV, which eliminate constant bombardment of the commercials, and especially turn off the news. Just turn it off. If there's anything important you need to know, you will know it. I did that years ago. And take a break from social media too. Really unplug from all the technology for regular intervals. Spend more time. And I heard this a while back too, a number of years ago too. We have to not just be so dependent on the internet, we have to develop our own natural dependence or interdependence on our internet, which is our innate intelligence. Okay? When you're just constantly plugged in, if you think about it, we are all putting attention outside of ourselves all day long. Very rarely do we put enough attention inside of ourselves. So spend time in nature regularly to balance out your screen time. Have your children spend time out in nature, balance their screen time. Very important. Go for a hike, go out by a body of water, whether it's a rushing stream, a lake, river, ocean, even a mud puddle, right? So get out into the sunshine and the fresh air regularly. Hug a tree. If you're inside a lot, especially in the wintertime, you know what you can do? I have some crystals on the table in my living room. And what my husband loves to do is he'll sit there in his chair and put these in his hands. Especially because he works with his hands a lot and they can sometimes hurt. And just doing that is like grounding, because crystals come from basically below the surface of the earth, second dimension. So even that can be a form of grounding in a sense. And relax. You can manually stimulate your vagus nerve by massaging several areas. First of all, a foot massage can stimulate vagus nerve activity. So can massaging your neck, especially from behind the ears, under the ears, and right down the neck. And it doesn't have to be very deep massage, a gentle massage, just a gentle massage. And even like the back of the neck and the top of the shoulders, just give yourself a little bit of a neck massage. right? So on the right side of your throat where you check your pulse, you can also stimulate the vagus nerve. Have a friend or a partner or a professional therapist give you a stress-reducing massage. It's usually not deep and painful, but a lighter touch can be very soothing and relaxing when you've been overstressed. That's really a very essential therapy. And play with pets, children, babies. Get outside and have fun. What a great way to calm inner stress than petting or hugging your favorite four-legged friend, playing, brushing, caring for them. It's sweet and soothing to the soul. So just enjoy that. How about being playful with children? Playing simple games, tickling, laughing at jokes, or making a baby smile or laugh. It's one thing I love to do whenever I go to the grocery store, in any store. If I see a little baby or a child, I love to just look at them and make them smile. You just light up with a smile and they respond instantly. That can be really fun. Prayer and gratitude. Studies have shown that reciting the rosary prayer actually increases vagus activation. Studies also find that reading of one cycle of the rosary takes approximately 10 seconds and thus causes readers to breathe at 10-second intervals, including both in and out breath, which increases your heart rate variability and therefore your vagus function. So these were actual studies that were done. Any type of regular prayer, positive affirmations stated out loud can improve your mood. You're strengthening your intention and increasing your sense of control over things. You are a powerful creative being that's unlimited. And we have to call on our innate power and intelligence. Give blessings to your food. Bless your water. Bless your gardens. Bless your friends and your family. In fact, bless everything in your life. Gratitude helps increase our frequency and it shifts our energy. Okay? I want to just mention something here too. If you think about the adrenal glands, right? Fear and stress stimulate the adrenal glands to go into that fight or flight thing, right? And it changes your chemistry in your body. And what's the opposite of fear? Fear is really a belief in what if I can't handle it? There's an underlying belief that says, what if I can't handle it? Now, what is the opposite? The opposite is trust, deep trust. If you could come to a place where, and I think that every single one of us on a soul level is getting this, I call it, it's the virtues that are trying to emerge from our soul, which is what all healing is about. And in the center of our solar plexus, in our gut, and our adrenals are in there too. It's like, if you can you trust yourself? How deeply can you trust yourself? How deeply can you trust the people closest to you? How deeply can you trust that you have gifts and talents and things to offer this world? How deeply can you trust, you have a purpose here, but how deeply can you trust that you will get back everything you need to live, grow, heal, and prosper? How deeply can you trust nature? How deeply can you trust your community? How deeply can you trust your government? Uh-oh. So anyway, really be aware of the fact that we have to deepen our own sense of trust. And that's where we find deep peace. Listening to relaxing music. If you're a music lover like me, you might find listening to beautiful, relaxing music can be highly beneficial to improve your mood and relax. Gently breathe in and out and focus on all the beautiful, soft tones. You might not want to listen to heavy metal and hard rock because that's a different energy. If you really think about listening to some of the words, basically, to some of the songs, that can actually be a little depressing. But you can also enjoy frequency music or tones that are related to the sacred solfeggio frequencies, such as 432, which is now very popular. So solfeggio frequencies are the original tones that used to be chanted by ancient Gregorian monks. They would chant these specific tones to heal people. And they were only able to be toned by a divine human vessel. So many, and they performed miracles in healing just using specific tones. But many years later, we actually changed that whole pure tone system to a 12-tone system to accommodate man-made musical instruments. So we kind of lost that pure tone. So the solfeggio frequencies you may have heard about. 528 is a brainwave entrainment meditation music that can really bring transformation and miracles into your life. 528 frequency is really the frequency of love. It can activate your imagination, your intention, your intuition, and operate for your highest potential. The 528 hertz vibration connects and resonates with everything within our DNA and the earth around us on the physical, material, and spiritual plane. So you can even just YouTube all kinds of solfeggio tones, and you're gonna see a bunch of them. So I use them in light therapy as well. So probiotics and gut health. This is really important that people don't think about. And I'm going to tell you something. The link between gut health and anxiety, which is referred to as the gut-brain axis, may prove to be effective to take probiotics for anxiety and depression. Studies have already shown that people who suffer from anxiety often also display symptoms of gastrointestinal disorders too, such as bloating, diarrhea, irritable bowel. Healthy beneficial bacteria in the gut creates a positive feedback loop through the vagus nerve, increasing its tone. They increase vagal activity due to its connection to the gut and digestive function. If your gut is unhealthy, you cannot be healthy. It's your essential core. From the mouth, your esophagus, it goes down to your stomach, small intestines, large intestines, and then out. That is your central core. If that is not healthy, there's no way your body can be healthy. You've got a problem. You've got to deal with it. Also, one of the things that I am seeing with a lot of people is the fact that our innate intelligence is a little bit turned off for a lot of people. How do you not intuitively understand, see, feel, or get what's really going on behind the scenes here? Most people have poor gut health, and their intuitive, their gut instincts, their innate intelligence, their intuitive senses are muddied. They're not strong. So gut health is really essential. Your innate intelligence, gut instincts can also be restricted. So daily intake of a blend of probiotics is important. I use like multi-probiotics from Douglas Labs. It's one of my favorites because it contains 40 billion of 16 different strains. You want multi-strain. And the really important thing is it needs to be acid and bile resistant. Do you know there's a difference between retail probiotics and professional grade probiotics. Most probiotics, once you put it into your stomach, 94% get destroyed by the stomach acid. Only 6% are actually left to go into the intestines where you need them. So you really want one that is bile and acid resistant. So you're not killing off and it gets into the intestines where you have a really good, healthy lining. And if you need to do, a gut detox in a sense, just to kind of clean that lining up a little bit, it's even better. If you have had antibiotics, even in the last 5 or 10 years, you need probiotics. Do you know it can take 5 to 10 years to rebuild healthy flora? If you have had an inoculation recently, you seriously need to rebuild healthy flora, and you seriously need to do a detox as well, because there were toxins in there. You really need to keep yourself tuned up, so that your immune system is strong and you're healthy. If you have not seen my previous one that I did a couple of weeks ago, is called Supercharge Your Immune System. It is on my website. The replay is, as well as the PDF. If you go to ultimatehealing.com and just scroll down about halfway, you're going to see the previous webinars. And there's also a PDF you can download for each. If you missed the PDF on here, I will also put it on my website. Okay? Fasting and reducing calories. So the vagus nerve is responsible for digestion, right? Rest, digest, repair. When your brain says that you are in a safe environment, again, that parasympathetic nervous system is strong. Otherwise, your digestion is shut down due to stress. For one thing, never eat standing up. Your stomach needs to be in a resting position. When you're fasting, an empty stomach sends signals back to the brain that digestion's unnecessary. So it frees up energy resources to be used for other things, including relaxation. Intermittent fasting is reducing the calories and the time frame in which you eat them. So it increases the high frequency heart rate variability, which I explained is how we measure the vagal tone. Your body then has more metabolic energy and resources for your normal functions. If you're eating all throughout the day and even just having snacks before you go to bed at night, your body is so busy utilizing a lot of metabolic resources to digest and to eliminate that you're not going into your rest and repair mode as easily at night. So ideally, eating between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., you can eat, whatever you need to eat during that time frame. That is ideal. Your digestion is higher between 10 and 2 p.m. From 2 to 6 p.m., it's also okay. After 6 p.m., your ability to digest goes down tremendously. You shouldn't even eat anything, just drink things. You should have at least a 12 to 14 or 16-hour fast every single night. Okay? That's actually ideal for your body. It gives your body more metabolic energy, relaxes that vagal tone. Your body says, oh, I can relax now. I don't have to worry about constantly trying to digest all this food. Okay? And increase your magnesium. Your adrenals need support. Magnesium is one of the greatest minerals your body uses regularly. It's actually more important, I think, than calcium. It has numerous functions, and it's best to take in the evening before bed. Your adrenals need magnesium to strengthen and to rebuild themselves. It has a calming effect. It can help soften your stools. There are different types of magnesium, but some are also stool softeners. They can prevent constipation. If you're eliminating only once a day or less than once a day, you need magnesium before you go to bed. And I usually recommend 300 to 500 milligrams, and it depends on the type that you're using too. It'll relax muscle tension, cramping, spasms in the muscles, keeps your nerves, muscles, and bones healthy. Also helps with migraines and headaches, seizures, and asthma. Helps maintain a regular heartbeat, helps with anxiety, PMS, increasing your energy levels, and it helps manage diabetes and blood sugar levels. So magnesium is really important. You're going to get it from a lot of different nuts and seeds and chocolate, avocado, bananas, almonds, greens, all right? Or take some magnesium. You can get powdered magnesium. I use some that I just kind of mix into some water, and you can drink that down before you go to bed. It'll help you sleep as well. Just calms stress. Your adrenals need it to rebuild themselves, as well as B vitamins. So you need, if you are stressed, or if you've been overstressed for a while, a high potency B complex. The B complex vitamins include things like B1, B2, B3, B5, B6, B7, B9, B12, B17. Basically, B vitamins are water soluble. So you need them every single day. Whatever you don't utilize, you just excrete, you pee it out. Your body doesn't store B vitamins. They're not fat soluble. They'll help keep your stress levels balanced throughout the whole month. If you have PMS, if you have mood swings, if you have anxiety, if you have chronic stress, take a high potency B vitamin. Okay? Your adrenals need B vitamins and magnesium to repair and rebuild themselves. Right? Support cellular health, growth of the red blood cells, energy levels, good eyesight, healthy brain function, assists with good digestion, healthy appetite, promotes nerve function, muscle tone, supports hormone and cholesterol production, and improves cardiovascular health. Yep. Do we get magnesium from Epsom salt baths? Yes, you do. But unless you're taking one every single night, you might want to also take in some others. Okay, I'm not going to deal with the file right now. There's too many questions about that. We'll talk about it later. Okay. Yeah, I like magnesium citrate as a natural stool softener. Magnesium glycinate is excellent to get past the blood barrier to your brain. There's, malate, oxide, magnesium oxide is a little bit of a stronger stool softener. So there's several. So plant medicines, herbs can be very common. You can have that as a tea. I used to do this for my kids when they were like in elementary, junior high. In the evening, we had this little routine. They were not allowed to have any sugar in the evening. But after dinner, I would make a nice pot of tea. I had this beautiful Hawaiian pot with these little cups, and we would drink kind of like a sleepy time tea. We'd have a little snack or something that didn't have any sugar in it. And my kids loved that because it would help them calm down. And I used to tease my son when he was like in high school saying, I bet you're the only boy in high school that has to make himself herbal tea every night. So you might benefit from something like either relaxing teas or herbal extracts that are called nervines. They're used to relax, tone, soothe the nervous system. Things like lemon balm, skullcap can be really great in a tea. Valerian root is a little strong, can be a little stinky in a sense. That's better as an extract. Lavender can be used as a tea or an extract or the oil. Oat straw, extremely high in calcium and minerals. It's very calming to the nervous system. Hops is actually a natural sedative. It will help you go to sleep. I love kava kava, but that relaxes your muscles and your body, but yet it keeps your brain awake or alert, I should say. Passion flower is very calming. People that have a lot of challenge sleeping or adrenal stress might benefit from magnolia bark. So these things can really calm a stressed system. You can use things like reishi and shiitake mushrooms. Even chaga mushrooms can be very beneficial for many different reasons. Black, green, and white tea contain L-theanine, which lowers the stress hormone, corticosterone, which boosts brain function, and the brain calming GABA. GABA, G-A-B-A, is gamma aminobutyric acid. Like I said, it's a neurotransmitter that calms our brain from all the worry, anxiety, and thinking. That's excessive. Serotonin makes you feel happier. Dopamine can make you feel more satisfied, reducing anxiety and worry. Some people like CBD oil because that can work with the body's endocannabinoid system to potentially produce a calm state for people with anxiety and stress. But make sure you get a strong enough dose of that. Okay, all those things can be very helpful. And you're going to find them in stores. You're going to have all kinds of calming and stress relieving teas, as well as you can find simple extracts that you can just take straight or in capsules or put it into a little bit of water or tea or juice, right? You can use light therapy. I used to teach using light therapy and specific frequencies for healing. It's an excellent way to immediately calm and relax the autonomic nervous system. Although it's difficult to describe the special qualities of the ancient sacred solfeggio tones, to those who've never heard them, words such as clarity, purity, smoothness, harmony, stability, these are the things that come to mind because these are the things that those tones enhance. They're based on sacred geometry. I just talked about them before, the solfeggio frequencies. They're based on the 369 Fibonacci spiral. All life utilizes that. So all the different frequencies, actually, if you add up the numbers, they all are a 3, 6, or a 9. The special tones are calming, grounding, liberating guilt and fear, undoing difficult situations. They help to repair the DNA. They help to connect to a divine source, finding solutions, enhancing intuition, expanding our universal consciousness. And then using it in conjunction with the lights, I use red, blue, and infrared, which you can't see. They carry the information into the cells immediately, actually 1,000,000 times faster than even electricity can. So it increases circulation, reduces pain, clears out inflammation, opens up the arteries, opens up the meridians, and just calms that whole stress response. And I know many people, because for years I was teaching this, and a lot of people, you may have a light system at home. And if not, there are a number of them around, or I can send you some information if you ask. All right, we're almost down. So ecstatic dance, dancing of any kind is an excellent way to move emotions through your body and release them. So ecstatic dance is a form of dance in which the dancers, sometimes without the need to follow any specific steps, just abandon themselves to the rhythm and move freely as the music takes them, sometimes leading into trance and a feeling of ecstasy. The effects of ecstatic dance begins with ecstasy itself, which may be experienced in differing degrees. So dancers are described as feeling connected to others, and even to their own emotions. Sometimes when you dance out your emotions, you might feel insecure or stressed or worried, and you dance it out, it just all falls away. And by the time you're done, you're left with just feeling love and joy. The dance serves as a form of moving meditation, helping people to cope with stress and to attain serenity. Ecstatic dance has been practiced throughout human history by many, many cultures. I've done it for a number of years. I kind of missed not being able to do it very much. Let me just see here. If anybody needs to mute yourself, because I hear a little bit of a sound. Okay, please feel free to do so. Yeah. So if anybody's not muted, and please mute yourself. Okay, we're almost done here. So the conclusion, so really there's so many alternative health information. It's out there everywhere. It's almost overwhelming. And in an age where people are looking to heal naturally, we're constantly being taught new modalities and tools to reach that pinnacle of optimal health. You know, what I wanted to mention before was when we were talking about B vitamins and stuff. The RDA, recommended daily allowance, is the bare bottom minimum that your body needs on a daily basis. So when you're taking a daily vitamin and it's got, I've got 100% RDA of the B vitamins or any of the other vitamins, what they know now compared to what they knew years ago is it's a pathetically low amount. You need higher amounts. There's another allowance called the ODA, which is the optimal daily allowance if you want optimal health, which is a much higher potency. Okay. So while the vagus nerve may be a brand new topic for you, don't think that it's another drastic change you have to make to your lifestyle. Most of the things you've been doing already are working because of the fact that they indirectly or directly work with this nerve to calm your stress. Meditation, prayer, gratitude, positive social relationships, yoga, dance, toning, breathing, grounding, all these things help to calm our stress. You know, when you put your feet on the ground, all that stress and inflammation goes down to the earth. It drains. You can drain inflammation by walking barefoot in the grass. So don't feel overwhelmed that you need to do all these things in this list, but rather take this as confirmation that you're on the right track and science and anatomy supports you. Lots of love and keep on healing. So I want to thank you for joining me. If anybody has questions, now is a great time to ask. You can either unmute yourself and ask or put it in the chat box. For more information, if you'd like to make an appointment, I am doing appointments by Zoom or phone. And I also have other webinars that are on my website, ultimatehealing.com. And I also teach classes online. So does anybody have any particular questions for me, things that may come up? I will talk about real quickly here because a number of people said they couldn't figure out. And let me stop my screen share. Okay, so somewhere at the very top of the chat, there is a PDF that says activate your vagus nerve. It says click to open. So see if that opens for you. If for some reason you have a problem with it, tomorrow I will be uploading this particular video onto my website, and I will put the PDF. So then you would have to go to ultimatehealing.com. So, because I can't necessarily just, I don't know everybody that's on here, and to be able to email it is a little too much. Okay, but you're welcome. Just check back probably tomorrow afternoon onto my website, Ultimate Healing. Otherwise, just try to click on that. I clicked on it and it immediately came up for me, and I can just go to file open, or even just click on download. Okay. It worked for me, so I'm not sure. All right.
Jane, I think maybe somebody had pointed out that if you weren't on at the very beginning, that little thing is not there. I think that's
okay. Well, let me pop it on again right now. And that's a good point, because I didn't realize that. And let me just find, here it is. Okay, I just loading, it's loading, and there it is. So try that if that helps. So any other questions? Does this trigger some ideas for you guys on how to take a little bit better care of yourself as far as de-stressing and the importance of it?
some of it's reminders to do the things we already know how to do.
That's right. And we do forget that. And we forget how important it is. Stress can be a killer. So, and especially all the people that have been, I mean, myself included, this has been a very stressful period of time. And I think we all need to take good care of ourselves. So like I said, there's also a couple of other webinars on my website. I did the one called Supercharge Your Immune System. Fall is coming up. We will have flu season again. We always will. We always have. You know, if your immune system isn't strong, do not rely on the vaccination, inoculation, I should call it. It's not actually a true vaccination, but don't rely on that, because that actually lowers your natural killer cells and your immune system can be a little bit weaker. So you want to strengthen your immune system no matter what, right? So that you have a better time. There's also another one on there that's really good called Why It's Essential to Raise Your Frequency if you want to avoid disease, right? So, great. I'm glad that that worked. Thanks, Nance. Yep. Any other questions? It's nice to see so many people popped on. All right. Well, if no other questions, I'm going to bid you adieu and say thank you very much for joining me. I'm glad you were here. Take excellent good care of yourself, sending you all hugs. And just know there's one thing I want to say too. And I just loved, I used to have this card on my desk that said, "Good morning, this is God. I will be taking care of absolutely everything today, and I will not need your help. So have a good day." So allow the universe to continue to unfold in its divine way, and know that everything is in divine and perfect order. That's the best thing we can do sometimes. Thank you so much. All right. Take good care, and I hope to see you again. I will be doing another webinar coming up in a few weeks. I'm not sure exactly when. I have actually a couple more coming up. One's going to be about the importance of reducing EMF radiation. And there was another one. Oh, the other one was all about sleep. What to do. Okay. So take good care, everybody. Thank you very much. And visit my website if you want more information or to download. Thank you. ultimatehealing.com is the website. Thanks so much, everybody. Good night.